Hey everyone, welcome to the community stream number 176. Just a second, I'm going to check that you can hear me well. Yeah, it seems like it's okay. Okay, so if you guys are hearing me well, maybe the volume is a bit low. Let me know if you need me to increase the volume. I realized in the last stream that my voice got so saturated naturally. I have a natural saturation on my voice, and because of that, the microphone ended up cracking up a bit on the last couple of streams, a bit more than I used to. So I simply changed a bit the audio, but most importantly, more than the actual level, the real problem I had was that the audio was coming in twice. It was coming from the um, microphone that I use. You don't see it, but it's there. And it was also coming in from what the computer was recording. And because of that, since my voice is naturally extremely saturated, um, yeah, if you double the saturation, you end up with this kind of chaos. So anyway, we're gonna get ready for the fight night. We'll start with the easy slash normal fight as usual. But I just want to make sure first that everything can hear me well. Just a second. Taking a message there. Okay, should be good. So for today, we have a bit more people that registered to the easy slash normal fight. And yeah, we'll have Gotham also first. We have Trojan, Black Hat, the Rootkit, the Cheat, the Hack, the Backdoor, the zOiOz. It seems like we have all the guys from the same plan, right? One after the other. We'll have Aniviper further down the road. Thanks to the names that I know. We have Faceless, Rosa Big, Monte Cristo is ending this category as well. It's kind of a habit. As I was saying already once, I feel like Monte Cristo is very often ending this category. But anyway, without further ado, let's start. Um, we should have no interruptions this time around. So let's see how things are running. Gorgmog, I'm a bit surprised that he decided to go for this one and not for the no one because come on, level six and level five artifacts. You can tackle the big guy. You can do it. Yeah, I don't know why you decided to. Maybe it's because of the setup you have that right now is oddly specific and indeed I want so probably you add your reason, but still, um, it's a bit surprising to say the least. Okay, so today what we are gonna do is that we're gonna talk about a few of the things that are coming into the game, and I will try to give you some more news about what's coming and um, yeah, just get you updated on most of the topics. First of all, for those that didn't realize, started 2 days ago, we started the Twisted Curse event. But on top of the Twisted Curse event, we also have the seasonal unit. This is the second season that we're doing this, and this is something we want to keep doing going forward, at least for the time being. For those of you that don't realize what I'm talking about, we're talking about one specific unit being in the spotlight for a season with buff, but also um, special in-game offers and a new skin for that unit every single season. Um, roughly that game. Sometimes it might not be an entirely new skin. Sometimes it will be just bringing back some of the skins that were not available for a long time, something like this. At least that's the idea that we're chasing. And after that, what is coming outside of this kind of era? Well, with the next era, and actually even earlier than that, starting in early July, we will be celebrating the Valdarion anniversary. What can you expect from there? Well, I'm not going to spoil all the surprises. What I can tell is that there will be some new cosmetics to get. There will be some exclusive offers for that time. There will be some sets added in the Eternite wardrobe. There will be the option to get for the entire month of July the Jolly Roger unit. So the Jolly Archer, Jolly Archer is the name of the unit. So you know this kind of Arcane Archer evolution of a unit that was supposed to be released last year, and we decided to postpone it. It was partly released, and from then on, we released it from time to time as one-off offer. It will be available the entire month of July in various offers, but also in Dragons. This is a unit that you can only get through special events. The idea is because this unit is a tiny bit OP compared to the regular Arcane Archer, the point is to make it reward for the most loyal players that are sticking with us throughout the main events of the year. And if you want to purchase it via some of the special offers, that's super cool. But you will be also able to collect cards for that unit without this. Probably it's not a unit you will be able to level up to level 150 anytime soon. That's a long run kind of thing. But at the same time, since it's a bit stronger than the Arcane Archer, you probably also don't need it to be as high of a level. So that's one of the things that will come with the anniversary. With the anniversary, we will also be I'm trying to see what can I spoil because I don't want to spoil too much. One thing that I can say is that we're working on something related to the Wheel of Triumph. For those of you that are not aware, if you play on the modern UI, you can access the Wheel of Triumph. And the Wheel of Triumph gives you a reward every day for free. You can have a second spin of the wheel by watching an ad, and then you can use a few gems. I think it's not either at 5 or at 10 to spin. Again, I think it's and then you can spin it again. And every time you spin, the cost in gems is increasing a tiny bit up until it gets to 50 gems. It's never going any higher than 50 gems. And so, yeah, there will be a special Wheel of Triumph somewhere during the anniversary month, and we'll really do our best to have a lot of different offers and different things going on during this month in July. So that will be our main thing there. Before we get going, I probably could let you know that it is right now 38 degrees Fahrenheit where I live. 38 degrees Celsius. If it was 38 degrees Fahrenheit, I would probably not be in a simple t-shirt. But actually, let me see, because I never know what the Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. So 38 degrees Celsius is, yeah, we're just above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's pretty warm for southwest of France where I reside. Um, yeah, it is what it is, but I just have to deal with it. deal with the heat. And I hope it's not going to get much higher. It will ultimately, but I would prefer for it to happen once I have the AC installed in this room, which is not the case for now. But we'll see. Once we have it, that will definitely make my life easier. So where were we? Yeah, we were talking about the anniversary event. Outside of the anniversary event, what else are we looking at for the game? Well, as you know, we are still working on the UI, on the modern UI. Um, the next thing to come will be a rework to the shop. That's been in the process for a while. So yeah, it's definitely overdue. We would have loved for it to happen a bit earlier, but there were no real options. So we had to get it going. Apparently, the team was able to make it so that the new shop will work alongside the old shop, meaning that you might be able to stay to the classic UI a bit longer for those of you that want to do that. That being said, the features like um, the battle report, the old time thing, as well as the Wheel of Triumph are not present on the classic UI. And as time goes, there will be more and more features that are specific to the modern UI. But yeah, it is very likely that we won't need to enforce the switch to the new UI, or at least not make it a permanent thing right with the shop release. But that's our next big release is the shop. Um, there will be also a few changes to the UI still, to the modern UI. One of them will be the home button that will be added a bit everywhere, as well as the shop being accessible everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but in every game mode a lot more easily than right now. So, okay, we have sorry about that. That's the first one. Okay, not sure why it happened this time around. But I see that my iPad was not too responsive even outside of the game, so might be because of the iPad. I will check right now who was our last player. Let me check. Okay, I will check right away if the player received when they shoot, but I'm quite sure they did. We only have a few players left to go in the section of the fight night, so hopefully we will get there easily. I'm just waiting for the game to properly launch because um, sometimes that also is what happens is that I want to eat everything a bit too fast. Like when it's loading those kind of things, if you want to skip it too fast, sometimes and um, generate your own crashes technically. So that's not necessarily what you want. So just a second here, taking what has happened for our friend. Let me see. What did you receive? Nice. Yeah, that's okay. You had the victory, so you did actually already receive your reward. Um, we'll see if there's any further um, crashes that happen. I might try to run a friendly fight against you, Stephanie. I don't know how we pronounce that name, sorry. I might try that later just to see if it was my setup against yours in one way or another that triggered this issue. But we'll see. So in the meantime, let me check. Well, in the pipeline. Yeah, we have 4 players left. After Ariel, we have Arigol, Owenheim, and Monte Cristo. Then we'll move to the next category. Cool. So yeah, I was talking about the new UI. So I was saying you will have a home button. Um, the idea is that right now, depending on where you are in the different menus, it can be a bit annoying because you have to go back twice to get to certain places and use the back button, which also means you need to wait for something to load, etc. And those cases are far from ideal. Since the same issue as last week still for some players. Yeah. Okay, so Ariel, I will need to grant you your additional rewards as well. I don't know why it's happening. It seems to be related to some of the power stones that we are using. We didn't identify yet which combination it is. So if you guys know, let me know. If not, luckily we are at the end of the era. So the era, sorry, it's not like it's gonna last for a longer time, but it would be important for us to identify why it is happening. Um, I will actually grant the missing reward to Ariel right away. That will probably be the easiest option. So let me see. Just checking what is the amount of gas that you would be missing. Yeah, just 100 cents. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I already granted you what you were supposed to get, and we have a crisis again. Okay, that's not good. Definitely not good. We need to know what is causing this. I had no problem earlier today. I had about 20, 30 games to bypass all of the ads in the game, and there was absolutely no issues. I hope that it's not my device because I'm playing on an iPad that is quite old for the streams, and also it's very, very off right now. So I hope that this is not what is causing it. Um, yeah, and mostly I hope that we'll be able to get the stuff running because right now this is definitely not ideal. For anyone that is wondering, I would like to remind you that if there's a crash during the fight night when we are fighting each other, you get the victory. I'm thinking every single time just as a safety measure, so to say, but so far it's always been the same. Always been granting you the victory reward. So in a way, if you get that, it's kind of a good deal for you. So who were we fighting at that point? It was there we are. It it was O&M, yes. Okay, let's see. After O&M, we still have just after O&M, we just have Monte Cristo, so we can just run regular fight, and that should be it for this section. Yeah, so O&M, I can actually confirm that we received 200 gems and 2 prismatic fragments. Okay, let's run this fight against Monte Cristo and get things going. Hopefully, no more crashes, please. The odds, I know that the modern UI has a bit more crash rate, a bit higher crash rate um, than the regular version. At least it has some initially, but the last update we had just fixed that quite a fair bit. So I don't think that's the cause. I'm simply thinking that my device might be on the last Pro. Technically, that wouldn't be a problem. Might be time to change that device. I think this iPad is kind of 10 years old now. Maybe, maybe not 10, maybe 8, 9 years old. I'm not sure, but pretty close to that anyway. Okay, so let's go to the site. This time I decided to go directly there. Okay, we have the auto spin on. I just need to get the fight night running. So this is closed, and we have the hard fight night. First player will be Forxign. We have Væringr, Ghostin, Wink, or that's how I would call you based on the emoji that serves as your nickname. Then we have King Elric, Nikolas, zOiOz, Zuriel, zOiOz, and Meep. And that's for your first 10 players. So let's go live and let's get things rolling. Okay, let's see. So today I didn't change the armies too much, except that I took some armor throwers in the two different builds because they're the unit of the season, and so that was a way as well to use them simply and make the best out of the current season. I was rechecking that everyone received what they should. Kind of a graph that I have sometimes to, not know if everyone received what they should. Sometimes, I check a few players, and for whatever reason, I still feel like, oh, okay, I should check more, even though I kind of know that for the regular issues, there's no problem there. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I was telling you about the UI. Maybe I shouldn't talk about the new UI anymore if it's triggering class every time I'm talking to you about it. Now, so the new UI has um, will have a back button allowing you to go back from directly to the home screen or from bounty hunter or from the skirmish or the global red boss or the red boss directly to your home screen. Even potentially from the store, you can go directly to the home screen. You will have a specific home screen different from the back button because depending on where you are, the back button will lead you somewhere else. Like if you're in PvP, if you use the back button, you'll get to the game mode selection. But if you use the home button, you would go back entirely. This will also come in more handy as we get going. Okay, so this one is different. This one is not a craft. That is a problematic layer. Let me see where we're at. Oh no, it's starting. Okay, that was kind of odd. Did we have anyone else before Ghostin that didn't go with? I think we had the fight against Væringr, right? Let me check if the fight against Væringr actually took place. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's odd. It acted a bit as if there was a spin issue, but that was not the case. So yeah, a lot of weird things happening. I just think my device is about to die. I think I have to come to this realization and accept the fact that the iPad has served well enough for quite long, and a new one will probably have to come and replace it. I think we got this one in 2016 or something like this. It was kind of the top of the game back then, but still, it's so long ago. Yeah. Anyway, back button, that's one thing. I was saying that it will come in handy when we have the next um, step for the commanders added as well. Because we'll have some more options and some more menuing to do, and maybe you will be happy to go from that menu directly to the home screen without going back to the commander screen, etc. So it will come in handy in other places as well than just the one for which players requested it. The other thing that will come outside of the open button and alongside the shop or just after or just before. Um, so we will have those things, the back button, and we'll have the store button. The store should be accessible everywhere. And right now, it is accessible when you're in PvP. But for example, it's not accessible when you're in the clan raid or the global raid. And I know that a lot of players felt a bit frustrated about this because they would like to buy elixirs without having to go back. And especially right now, since you have to go back twice. So the on button already shorten, shortens that a bit, but we'll have an actual store there directly. In a similar fashion, we'll make the one in the PvP mode a bit more obvious because a lot of players don't realize that when you're in PvP, you just have to tap on the shop offers and you get to the store. You're not going to buy it directly. You're just going to get to the store. So yeah, that will be something we will be adding. And we are looking at a way to add a notification in game whenever your wagons are ready so that you know you have to go back to the home button, via the home button, sorry, to the home screen and open the wagon that is over. That's something we're looking at. It might be that this notification is not there only for the new wagon, but let's say there's an in-game news or there's later on something new coming up for the commander, that might be one way to go. So those are the things that are coming with the store, and the store update is something we hope to happen in July. Probably, yeah, first half. I think we are looking at the 15th of July or something like this to have the full release. And then in August, the point is to have the first real feature related to the commander. What we plan for the initial release will be a rune system. The runes are pretty much like power stones for your commander. What it means is with the runes, you would be adding up to 3 runes to your commander, and that gives you some passive buff for your army, right? Because you have 3 commanders available, that allows you to already have 3 different combinations of power stones, and since each of them has 3 power stones, that gives you quite a few 3 power stones. Uh, okay, I should stop saying power stones. They are runes for the commander. So since you have 3 commanders and each of them has 3 different runes, that gives you quite a few different combinations you can work with. The rune will be um, a bit like the power stone in the sense that you won't have 20 or 40 different types of runes. You will only have a certain amount of runes. Probably at the beginning, it will be a very small number. Maybe we'll start with just 5 or 6 or 10 different types. I'm not sure. But runes will mostly be important for the quality. What I mean by this is think about power stones and how every season you have a new, or for some power stones, you have a new level coming in. You know, you have your execute, then you have your execute 2 and execute 3. This kind of thing. Yeah, okay, I can confirm that this is really my device being slow. So yeah, with power stones, you can have power stone 2, 3, or 4. In a similar fashion with the runes, you will have your common, your rare, and your mythic, or something like this. But what differs is that runes will be something you forge. So you will be receiving some runes of different quality, and you will need to use some forge of a certain quality to acquire one forge of the next layer of quality. So let's say you want to equip only mythic one, you will need to use maybe 3 rare ones to get 1 epic, right? So that means if you only got through events and the season pass and those kind of things, you only got some commons, then to get 1 mythic, you will need 9 commons because you will need to use 3 commons to get 1 rare, 3 commons to get 1 rare, 3 commons to get 1 rare, and then you can use those 3 rares to get a mythic, right? The numbers I'm giving are just to, to explain what it's about, but I don't know if it's going to be 3 or not, or if there will be only 3 rarity levels, or if there will be 4 or 5 or whatever. That's to give you an idea. And what is specific with the runes is that they have a duration. So again, like the power stones that only last until the end of the era, here it's not going to be era based, it's going to be time sensitive, and most of them will have a short duration. So especially the highest quality ones will have short duration. This means as a player, we're giving you a strategic choice, which is do you want to use runes that are less powerful but will last longer, or do you want to use runes that are stronger but last for a shorter amount of time? That will be something for you to decide. And that also means you can decide to use your best runes at specific moments when you will make the best out of it. That's what these, this rune system will be for. And since those are time limited, just like the power stone is something that will keep going forever. You will always need to obtain runes in the event or buy some packages if you want and keep on forging those, etc. That will become part of the routine of the gameplay to forge some runes and equip the ones you think are the best, etc. On the longer run, it also means we can have very exclusive runes that are only available for a certain amount of time or through a certain event, etc. And that you can decide to keep for a moment when no one else has them anymore. Like, I don't know, let's say it's Christmas and we give an access via an event to a mythic rune of a specific effect, and it's only there for Christmas, and after that you cannot get it anywhere. You cannot buy it, you cannot obtain it. Well, a player that decides to keep it and only use it in March might get a huge advantage of it because they use it at a point where no one else has it. Or the other way around, some people might use it earlier because they realize most of their enemies are not using this. So that's the kind of thing um, we will be uh, thinking about on the longer run with the rune system. The rune system should be the first release related to the commanders, and coming after that, either right after or at the same time, or sorry, either after or right at the same time, will be the active skill. So the active skill will be a skill that you can trigger manually during the fight. And it's your commander that will have this specific ability, then you can trigger it manually. When you're in defensive mode, so when someone attacks you, it will be triggered at a very specific moment in the game, depending on the ability. And this information will be the same for everyone. So I don't know. Let's say you have I'm making things up, but you have a commander active skill that allows you to make all of your range units completely resistant to any damages for 5 seconds. I don't, again, I'm completely making this up, but something like this. It would, if you're in, if you're attacking someone, you can decide when you trigger that. So you can decide to keep it for if you get into a draw, or to keep it for the end of the battle, or do it at the very beginning to take an edge on your opponent. You decide. But if you're defending, it will happen at the same time. So, for example, if we say, yeah, well, this ability is happening 25 seconds into the battle, it will happen 25 seconds into the battle, and that's it. But you know about it, so you can also build your army and such, knowing that this is what is going to happen. This means that the attacker has benefit because they can decide when they want stuff to take place. Um, and at the same time, the defender also still benefits from the active skill, even though they are not active around that time. That will be the next step. And then the final feature for the commanders, which we hope to have mostly in full, that would be the most realistic scenario, will be an actual skill tree where you start from your active skill and then you can um, choose a path. You know, it's the way we're thinking about it at the moment would be a circular kind of um, skill tree system, and you would pick where you want to go. You have some places where you can or cannot go depending on what you picked before, etc. And the idea would be as you level up your commander, because that will also be a functionality of commanders, you can level them up. You will unlock skill tree points that you can use to unlock skills. Oh, we have the same problem again, and it's DeadReapingHood. It was already with DeadReapingHood the last time. So yeah, I can do some tests with DeadReapingHood about that and find out what is going on. Just a second. I'm gonna grant him right away what he should get. Sorry, just a second. So yeah, the idea with the skill tree will be that you get your commander's points, you use them to unlock specific skills. Most of them will be passive skills. A lot of them will be common to all the commanders. Some of them will be specific. Some of them will have levels. So like one specific skill can be leveled up to level 2 or 3 or something like this. But each time you do that, you're using up some of your skill commander skill points. So you will have to decide which direction you go, etc. And of course, you will have the option to reset this. The reset will probably cost a bit of gems, or will be using some gold. And once you use some gold, it will only be available for gems unless you wait a certain amount of time or something like this. Because the idea is that we want to give you the option, of course, to reset, because it could be the case. But if you can constantly reset, then that means there's no point for you in leveling up all the commanders uh, alongside and trying to go with different paths, because you can just use one commander uh, and go with whatever path you need for whatever situation all the time. Which what we would like is for you to specialize your commanders. Depending on the active skill, you would be encouraged to kind of pick a selection of runes and type of skill to progression that will make this commander valid for you. And one thing we would really like going forward is, you know, for players to say, okay, when I attack, I want to use that commander. But anytime I'm leaving the game and I won't be playing, I want to use that guy because I made it a super defending commander, all those kind of things. And going forward, maybe at one point more commanders will be added with other active skills, allowing players to go for even more diversity and have, their clan red commander. Or maybe on the longer run, they will have a commander they want to dedicate to the clan wars or those kind of things. That would be also something on the longer run we'd like to look at, but that we would be looking more next year kind of thing. And to be fair, with what we plan already for the commanders, I would believe that once this is done, um, we would directly move to Clan Wars before we get back to something like the commanders again. But we'll see. Okay, so I hope we won't have any further growth so far. It seems like we don't have any crashes anymore. My device seems to be coping a bit better with whatever is happening. I hope it stays this way. Uh, but yeah, let's see. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions, any ideas, anything you would like to discuss? Because we have quite some players to go with today. I think we have like 60 players still to go or something like that. So yeah, if you have suggestions, now is the time because we have a lot of time. So let's try and see. Now we have 57 players to go still. So after the current fight, we will be facing Sam. We have Lil Sage, we have Rune, we have Saint Dawn, Celius, we'll have Admiral, Starguard, Destroyer, Shiver. We'll have Notfree, Destroyer 2, Constantine, Seize Up, Breathing Arrows, Presley, Penny, 007, Kerazul, Winera. That for the next 20 or so players that we will be facing today. So yeah, on my side, in terms of news for the game, that's the main thing. For those of you that would be joining us right now, what we discussed about so far will is the anniversary event. What is coming next for the new UI, which includes the back button, well, not back button, the home button, the shop, and the shop button as well, and hopefully a notification system that should come through. There are still a few bugs as well, UI related, that are being worked on, and once this is done, we'll be able as well to work a bit further on the performance of the modern UI in general. One thing I would like to point out though is that once we will move fully to the modern UI, which anywhere will need to happen when the commander runes are added into the game because we need every player to go through that. So worst case scenario, that would be in August. Um, when this happens, we'll have to switch to the modern UI for everyone, but that will also already make the performance better for everyone because we also have to remember that right now the game is caching um, the values, the art assets, etc., for the two UIs. So once we get to one UI only, that will very likely up the performance a bit as well. So yeah, we talked about the UI, we talked about the commanders and especially the runes. The spamming will be the next thing coming up from there. There will be as well then the active skills and the skill tree with the leveling of the commander. I'm not entirely sure. It is possible that the leveling of the commander comes earlier than that, even though at the beginning it might not grant you much benefit until the skill tree is there. But yeah, it might be a technical dependency that we needed to happen before. Overall, the use is that similar to what happens when we release the commander will also be what comes next. So far, when you are seeing the commander, um, well, you are seeing the commander, you can see the coming soon being mentioned above what looks like power stone slot in our RC the room. We'll have something kind of similar. Once we release the active skills, you will probably have already access to a skill tree, but not seeing anything of it for this in this. Okay, you say, let me recheck, sorry, the end of the fight. No, that was a legit draw. Okay. Now I start to be slowly skeptical of any draw. Oh wait, no, it was not a legit draw. You had no more units to fight. Yeah, so you need to get the reward as well. I have no idea why this is happening. Is this guy happening to you as well in the fight that you see, or is it just in the fight night that you see this? Because this is pretty odd, to be honest. So let me grant the reward right away. The six that was for a little tiny, there you are. Just a second. So here we go. Okay, you say you received already the reward you were supposed to get. Okay, for a second I thought freezing, but no, that's okay. Yeah, this type of room is taking forever. Is it gonna be another weird draw? Or I always feel like because I have way more units on my side, I might be able to do it, but nah. Oh wait, that's super weird. Nah, I'm stupid. I was watching the video on YouTube and I was like, wait, how is it not showing the score from the overtime? And I forgot that the YouTube video has like 20 seconds of delay or something like this. So that's why on my in-game screen it was showing up properly, but not on YouTube. And yeah, for just a second, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? I think we had so many issues at the beginning of the stream that start to freak out for no reason there. But yeah, anyway, we are now fighting St. John. Let me see where we are. Okay. Now it's time for Syria. I do like that battlefield. I used it quite a while ago, and I still feel like it's one of those that to me makes absolutely no sense. Like the background makes no sense at all, but it looks super cool. So I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Since there were questions about that as well, I saw that not too long ago. I don't know yet when we'll start adding another battlefields or more new elements to the game, but that will come for the cosmetics for sure. We slowed down a little on that because the art teams had to work a lot on the new UI and the commanders and all of that. But you're not forgotten, guys, on that one. Also, since we're talking about what's coming for the game, a little word on Spellwagon. As you know, or you might not know, Spellwagon is a website that we launched and where we are renting some exclusive offers, um, and it's quite interesting, mostly because it's um, providing payment methods that are not there in the stores. Sometimes it works for players that live in countries where the stores are not localized. It's the case in most of the African countries, and it's the case in quite a lot of places where the game is not officially released. But if you are playing the game, then you would have a way to make some purchases there. And so we are slowly expanding what Starwagon is. We have been adding slowly ongoing events and those kind of things. And on the long run, we will be adding way more things. We want to add guides for the community. We want to add some exclusive content, like, you know, behind the scenes type of things. And we will also, and that to me is the biggest point for you, be adding the season pass on there, which can be quite interesting for some of you because it will likely be kind of a season pass plus. So season pass that includes a few more things on top, making it potentially not the exact same price point as in the stores, but also potentially more valuable. So that will be for you to see and decide if that's of any interest for you or not. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up so that you guys know that the season pass is finally coming to Spellwagon. And yeah, we believe that this can be quite interesting for a lot of you in terms of, you know, getting the best offer value wise. Um, the season pass has always been one of the best offers we can have in the game, and this one will definitely have there as well. Okay, so let's go destroyer. Is it destroyer or destroyer? No, that's destroyer. Okay. Again, folks, if you have any questions or any topics that you would like to bring up, anything you want us to discuss, uh, let's go through that. Here, the temperature is slowly decreasing, but yeah, it's still pretty much 36 uh, degrees Celsius, which should still be pretty close to 100 Fahrenheit. Yeah, check earlier for 36, for 38, sorry. The 36, yeah. So we are 97 degrees Fahrenheit pretty much right now. So yeah, I'm sorry for all of our American viewers. I will never understand the Fahrenheit system. To, of course, it's because I've been raised with the Celsius system, but to me, it simply makes sense that um, 0 degree is freezing water, 100 degrees boiling water, and then you have your in between. Um, so I'm just way too used to that. Sorry. Okay. Oh, Sawyer told me, but who else? He is next on the list. We are fever not three. We'll have to Sawyer two right after. Constantine is up definitely Allo plus his tiny 007. That's well halfway down in the list we mentioned earlier. Then we have Kirizu, Gwynella, Narcissus, Pikachu, Jensen, Sakura, easily Army with a foreign job, 85, 516, Aaron, Green Egger, Reaper 86, CSK, Elder, Side, Kiran, Sparrow, Devastator, Rosario, Rune 2, Sabrian, Fatal Palm, from Wrestle with Love, Mr. Leatherface, Louis Swampon, and I'm gonna stop at Mr. Alien. Um, yeah, we have slightly less than 50 players to go now, 48 actually. Will be facing Fever now. Oh no, sorry, Fever is already happened, so that will be not now. Not three. Three? Not three. Okay. So we can also rename you in as Taken if you prefer. Will I manage to get that last step? Yes. Okay. I thought I would never get that final back, but we got there. We got there. Now is the big fight against Destroyer 2. That's quite huge armies on both ends. I wouldn't say it's the same because it's not. It's pretty close. I would expect that this fight is going to take a bit of time. Probably another contender for the another contender for maybe grow into. Hopefully, we don't have to get there. Let's see. I'm gonna be dead way before that. Well, fight of air monsters. Wait. Maybe I can do it. Yeah, look at that. I would have never bet that I would actually win this one. It was unexpected from my side, to be honest. So now let's go with Constantine. So many dragons. It kind of makes me happy to see the dragons getting some love again because there was a point where all the dragons were simply not strong enough to justify using the the dragons much. I'm quite happy to see that. Yeah, now it makes sense. Also, I don't recall this battlefield with the Excalibur kind of thing. I don't remember this one. Maybe it's just that I never paid attention to this detail in particular. I will check on that later on. But yeah, as I keep saying, there's always new fortress or battlefields and such that it's not that they're new, it's just that I don't remember them, some of them. So yeah, you know, the the build that you have is now turning to be almost old fashioned because it was the dominating build for quite a while. I see that being changed now, and a lot of people are going through some other phases in their gameplay. But um, let's not play pretend. We know that this has been um, the dominating build for quite a while. It it's gonna become old fashioned if you stick to it, but it's still rather efficient anyway. So I guess that the nerf to Hydro this week also makes it ever so slightly less interesting. It's still not a massive nerf, just one that is kind of okay for us to run with because we didn't want to make this unit completely useless either, right? Because that wouldn't make sense. Um, so yeah, that's what we did. Now let's go with Deathly Arrows. That's a very point-wise coherent army from Deathly Arrows. You only have your not even sure what unit it is with this skin, but yeah, your yeah, your both melee unit are not fitting the color theme as much, but you're getting there. You're an almost perfectly coherent army in terms of skins and cosmetics. I mean, it's kicking my ass as well, so I guess it's coherent build altogether, but on the design is definitely the case. Lastly, let's see how we do the return of the old-fashioned build that we are referring to earlier. Is this the Soul Pilot with the weird skin? Oh, tiny. Again, guys, if you have any question, any topic that you want to bring up, now is the time. Please let me know so we can get those things to discuss. Otherwise, you know, I will always find something to talk about, but not as fun if I'm alone discussing those topics. It's way better when you guys are in there somewhere. My units are getting killed one after the other and not attacking at all. I hope that we get to the grove before signing manages to kill every single one of my units. But yeah, okay, we survived. It is it's ugly, but sometimes it's okay not to win if you're not losing. Well, yeah, let's see. 40 players to go. We'll see if the usual thing making it that the last players in the stream are usually slightly less elevated in terms of their progression in the game, which makes the games a bit easier for this um, advanced account. We'll see about that. I'm not so sure about it this time because I saw quite a few well-known names further down below. Let's see. Right now we are fighting CellarDoor, and let's see. Yeah, quite some great players further down below. Mm, Okay, now I just received a notification on my uh, computer that there's a risk of a violent storm behind him. I mean, it's got, we had this heat wave coming at us so fast that it's not too surprising, but we'll see. Hi, Guilherme. So you're asking about the screen or image of the news. Now we moved to a slightly different format for that, simply because the streams are already quite long, and we want as many players as possible to take part in Fight Night. So what I do instead is that I am sharing the news as we get going with the Fight Night. I explain with a lot more details than I could in a 5 minutes or 7 minutes um, introduction. But then once the news gets official and validated by the team, we are sharing that obviously with everyone on Discord or in the game. What it means, because I guess you're asking that compared to what used to be done uh, with my predecessor, first of all, the main difference is that back then the game was in the earlier stage. of development where there were there was a very precise roadmap for the next year to come, um, that they would not derivate from too much. But also, main difference, I would say, was that, um, as far as I recall, Crucible was not necessarily sharing all the details about what would come next in 3 months or 6 months from now. It would not give previews of upcoming features unless they were closer to the release. What we are doing now is that we give those um, teasers and such. So I'm not so much into sharing just what are the next set of power stones that will come with the next era, or just strictly what comes with the next release. I'm trying to give you some dates for what will come way after that. Mostly because we are at a stage of the game where some of the things we do take a lot more time, and also we want to hear the feedback from you guys before we impose anything. So um, yeah, ultimately, people that are watching the community stream, they get quite a lot of information way beforehand and way before it comes to the game. Uh, but also, they were able to give us a lot of feedback on things we shouldn't do, or how they would like to see X or Y or Z coming to play. And yeah, that's usually how we do things there. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I hope so, but I guess that kind of makes the point. Another difference you would find with the old fight nights is that we have now two armies you can fight. The slightly easier one, which is better suited for our less advanced players, and the one you currently on screen that is way harder to defeat. Um, and so yeah, we're trying to cater to everyone within the stream, um, and make sure everyone can see what's going on. We also don't do the streams every week, but every 2 weeks, which makes a difference because Crucible used to stream every week. Um, but the main problem was that the numbers were dropping quite a fair bit towards the end before the takeover of the game from the previous owners to Ghostin Games. And in order to make the best out of the time we spend here, uh, have information to share, have details to share, and not just run a stream because we like to stream, but run a stream because it's valuable for the players. We had to rework some of the things. Um, we also prefer to slightly less fight night than we used to, and that's still something that might be changing because as you can see, especially right now that the sunny days are there, there's really a lot less activity in the chat and such. I mean, it depends on the session. Sometimes you have a lot more, obviously, but today, for example, is pretty stale, and that's not really fun for anyone. The one part that Crucible was able to do very well is that it was able to spend a lot of time promoting the fight night, and he was getting a lot of rewards, really a lot, because there were also the quizzes during the fight night, uh, but we quickly realized that people were only joining to get rewards, and it's still the case. Most of the players that join our fight knights mostly want to get rewards. We we don't have a problem with technically, but we also always try to find ways so that we make it so that we encourage players to actually contribute to the fight night and actually come and share some things with us. For the coming months, there will probably be some changes again to the fight night precisely so that it gets more active, slightly shorter because we know that anytime the fight night and the stream is more than 1 hour long, we have weighted views. Um, more than 1.5 hours, especially like it's going to be today, you are guaranteed to see the the number of views dropping quite fairly, up to the point where a lot of the players that are receiving rewards are not even watching the fight night, and that's definitely not something we want because the point of the fight night is to grant rewards when players are actually active. And yeah, I must admit that's not really the case at the moment. So yeah, I think that this answered your question. Um, in the meantime, let's see where we stand today. Look, quite a bit. I think we have at least 20, 30 players. Yeah, 31 players to go. 30 after the current fight against Corain. So yeah, probably 25-ish minutes or something like this. If you have other questions, if you have any requests or anything like this that you want to ask us, now is the time, guys. Let's go for it. So let's see how we do against Charm. Not looking too good, to be honest. I think it's gonna be a quick victory for him. Yeah, there we go. So I think we have about 10 chunks left in the realm of way stronger than the accounts we use type of players. And I think after that, we'll start for the last 20 players will be in the fight that could be a bit faster, as it usually happens. And it still surprises me because it doesn't really seem to matter um, how we do it. The randomization of the entries in these streams are always a bit crazy. But let's see, let's see how we will be able to have it run. So 85-15, the old-fashioned field is back again. Not sure how well we can do against you. I believe it's gonna be a draw. Oh, maybe not actually. Let's see, can we do it? Ah, my dragon won't survive that. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't think we'll survive that. Ah, okay. We were pretty close from there in the draw, I would say. But we didn't. Let's see. Now we have Aaron. Hey, great player for one. Here you have a player with around 3, 3, and 4 artifacts and still went for the hardcore slash advanced fight. I with that. We don't see that too often. We see way too many players that are a bit afraid of going for the more advanced fight, even if they really have all it takes. Look at this. The guy will totally do it. I will be defeated. So what was the point of not wanting that? Okay, maybe he won't do it, but yeah, he tried. So that's something I respect him for. Okay. So, do you guys have any on or any other topics you would like to cover? As a reminder for today, we talked about the new UI changes. We talked about the anniversary event that will start and last throughout the entire month of July. We talked about the commanders and especially the new boon system that will come there. But we also talked about the skill, the skill tree, and the leveling up of the commanders. So with that down, quite a few different topics for today. Um, we also talked about the Wheel of Triumph. Oh yeah, that was the thing. Some players seem to believe that the Wheel of Fortune is not granting all of the possible rewards. Um, this is not true. The Wheel of Triumph is granting every single reward available, but they don't all have the same probability to drop. The items that are more rare have and more precious have a lower probability to drop, which means that if you're just doing a few spins a day, there are some rewards that will take probably a long time before you get them, but you will eventually get them. It's also important to note that those are independent probabilities. So every time you spin the wheel, you have the same probabilities reset. It's the same when you do your first run as if you did your 10th run. In other words, something that sometimes people get confused um, with independent probabilities, and I always use the heads and tails, kind of metaphor for it, is that if you flip a coin, you have a 50-50 chance of it being on heads or tails. But if you flip the coin 10 times, every single time you still have a 50% chance of getting one or the other. What makes the probability drop is not every single try, it's the combination of tries. So it's the fact that it's the series of um, results that gets a different probability. But it doesn't matter if you already flipped 20 times your coin before, it won't change the output of the 25th one. It will still be 50-50 chance. Now, where the probability gets lower is if you say, hey, what is my probability of getting 5 times heads in a row? Then tails. That probability drops. But even that probability is never zero. If you ever flip the coin, I don't know, 100 times, you will see that you can get not very common, but it can happen. And so that's the thing with the Wheel of Triumph, that you have to keep in mind that because those are independent probabilities, and because the probability of getting some of the rarest items like the prismatic fragments or the wagon are way lower, it is very likely that it takes quite some time before you get it. The other thing related to the Wheel of Triumph that we can talk about is what actual that happens in the second try. So the second try is dependent on you watching an ad. The problem is if this ad gets too long, there's um, an issue with the scene starting already before your ad is over. And so the spin kind of gets into a broken animation once you get out of it. Unfortunately, this broken animation seems to always stop on the prismatic fragment, even though you might get something totally different. So we are working on that. The problem is that it's mostly related to the length and duration of ads for the ads that are already way too long compared to what they should be. And we have very limited uh, possibilities to act on that. This is the sad thing with the way ad providers work, and we don't have that much bandwidth to work on that. But yeah, this is what is happening, and it's an issue we're working on. But at the moment, I don't have any clue yet if that's something we'll be able to fix from our end or not. We'll try to find some workarounds so that at least it's clear to players when this is happening that they might get a different result than what they see, but that's solely um, because of the because of the duration of the ad. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say about the Wheel of Triumph. But I already said there will probably be something happening with the Wheel of Triumph in the anniversary either. Outside of that, we are looking to feedback on this feature um, because it can easily be developed in many different ways. One thing that a lot of games do and that we experimented with on other titles in the past as well is to have different levels to this um, wheel. So the way it would work is every season, for example, would reset, and depending on how many spins you have, either it's based on the number of spins. So I don't know, within a season, maybe you need 20 spins or 15 spins to get to the next level with better reward, which means that a free to play player can get there. And then you would need some more to get to a third, fourth, or fifth level with better rewards each time, which would then be kind of an incentive for players that want to use some gems in the wheel to actually do it. The second way to do it with the levels is to have one of the rewards being the level increase. And then again, that could be something that we test every week, every season, sorry. Every season, maybe every week, maybe every era. It depends on, the number of levels and how good are the rewards you get there. But this is something that exists in a lot of games. So yeah, that's one thing we would be able to do there. Okay, guys. any other question or any other topic you would like to cover? We are right now fighting Devastator. From what I was saying earlier, we are reaching 10 of the players that I believe were the hardest to find for the hard account. So we'll see if I'm right. Usually that's what happens, but we'll see. For now, we have a 51 winning ratio. Last time, I was pretty sure we would finish around 40 to 50% because we had just a few accounts left and it was looking good. The few last accounts trust me, and I think we ended up just above 30, like 31 or 32. So that was pretty lame. Let's see if we can get a bit better this time around. We'll see. From my uh, experience of that, we have faith, or we are finishing now with Devastator, the strongest account for the section of the fight night. So now let's see. We have Rosario now. Um, Not meeting, I don't know if you're aware of that, but I can see all the stats from the fight night for the different accounts that are logged in. So for example, I could tell you that Rosario signs up 65 times. He has 42 victories, one draw, and 21 losses. And you might say, wait a minute, that doesn't add up to 65. Yeah, that's because the sign-up is including today's fight as well. And sometimes you have even bigger difference. And that would be because sometimes there would be cases where you would register and you would be added into the tool because the event would start before it got to you. So that's also something that would have happened in the, at one point. You could explain why. Now we are against rune 2. We have a 42 winning rate. Let's see. Rune 2 is already done. We are now a bit higher than that. Valdarion is a bit of a newer account as well. Level 3, 2, and 1 artifact. It's around level 100. I believe it's going to be very tough for you, but who knows? Maybe you can surprise us, to be honest. But I think it's going to be a very tough one for you, Sabrian, this time around. So I think maybe you can push us to the overtime and maybe even the draw. Now I think now that I draw is gone, it could be going fine. Let's see. Yeah, I draw is gone, the dragon is gone. We should be good to go. Okay, and just like that, we are back in the 50%, I believe, for the win show. Yeah, we are at 52. Let's see. Still hydro. I still didn't use hydro, I think. I think I used hydro once in the fight night. Yeah. Now that it's nerfed, maybe I will go for it as well. I didn't want to use hydro when it was too powerful because I knew that a lot of players were already deep with hydro being this strong. So having to face it on top of it in the fight nights as well, I believe it would have been a bit too much. And I would understand why some players would be a bit upset with that. At least to me, it really makes sense. So I much prefer um, to do it differently. So let's see. Now that it's nerfed, now that we see it a tiny bit less, just a tiny bit less, maybe we'll go with it. We'll see. So I don't think I'm gonna make it in this fight. I think it's gonna be a loss. But maybe a draw. Maybe a draw if we stick long enough. But Ah, oh, am I gonna make it? Oh, I didn't see this one coming. I didn't see this one coming. But see, there we go. It's three victories in a row, which I don't think we had that many of at the beginning. Um, yeah, and I draw again from Russia with love. Let's see. See, that's another avatar that I don't think I ever saw before. I really have no memory of this one. I quite dig it. Quite dig this avatar. So now we have 15 players left, including from Russia with love. So if you have any other questions, that will be the time. So you have to do something and get things rolling. Mm-hmm. One, Mr. Leatherface. Mr. Leatherface is three victories out of three fights in general. So we'll see how it goes this time around. Um, yeah, we still have a few that are going to be tough, but then we get into territory where it might work a bit better for us. We'll see. We'll see how we do. But see, Mr. Leatherface is one of the very few with three, six, three level 6 artifacts. Not something we see that often. And I remember again when people said when we did the artifact change, no one will get three level 6 artifacts for at least a year or two. Now, it was faster, and it's going to remain faster. So, Louis, let's see how we're doing. I do get why players get tired of hydro though, because it's like never ending. So many hydros all the time. Mm. I didn't think I would make this one, but I take it. I definitely take it. Next is Swarm. Yeah, the return of the classic build. There's no secret of few of them. It's always interesting to see when a new build is starting to spread across the community, gets adopted, up to the point where everyone goes for that build, and then suddenly someone is like, "Yep, no, I have found something that works better," and goes for it. I think that it's one of the popularities of this game is how clever people get with the use of the very different units. Um, because if you look at this build, there are some classic units quite a few rather new one. I mean, you have the Mandate, you have the Shadow Fixture, you have the Frozen Altar. There's also have the CLS, you also have what's his name? The Paladin, I don't remember his name. But you see what I mean? That you have basically when new units and older ones, and they all are there, and it still works out. So that's pretty cool. The creativity there. And you're gonna have an Arcane Archer. So yeah, and that's the draw. Okay, let's see how we do with pawn. The victory. Assist pickup 51, 52%. It is the highest we've been for the winning ratio. Love to see us get out of that. Okay, so now that's a different build. Our little alien guy is going for something different. Sadly, oh, I thought he was about to get defeated, but then he had all of his Eden alive showing up. That's cool. Won't be enough, but it's cool. A victory for us. We are finally going a bit higher, 56. As I told you, the second half, well, the last bit of the fight night is always going a tiny bit faster. Now we have not even 9 players to go. Let's see. I think Iliberi is going to pass us though. I sign up 4 victories, 1 loss. That's that's the kind of guys we're talking about. Yeah, I really don't think I'm gonna make this one. But that's okay. We'll still have a few players go through it, hopefully make it. I think the next 4 players will be pretty undecided. Then we'll have 2 players that should probably destroy me, and we'll finish with 2 players that, yeah, it's gonna be a bit less decided as well. So maybe, hopefully, we can keep our winning ratio about 50% each, which would be just fine. we can make it against the Severian, but I'm not 100% sure it's gonna, let's see. There's still this hydro, but I would expect this one to be a draw. Unless we're able to get a few hits on this hydro, but if not, okay, Olaf might be strike too early. Okay. Then I believe we're not gonna do it. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Come on, let's see if we can make it. 7 accounts left. Okay, I would expect that we can do it against Rib with the same build. The other thing is this build is really driving matches to, well, at least with against my build, really goes into the draw territory. So that's also, I guess, something that annoys players a lot when you do long sessions and yeah, you end up in a draw. I get it. When you're also spinning and such, not the funniest experience for sure. But let's see if my guys can get their hands on this hydro early enough. So that's the crucial part, right? We need to start hitting on that hydro guy early enough. Otherwise, we're just wasting time. I believe it's gonna be a late defeat or draw again. So there must be at least one instance where we managed to get that build out. It's crazy when the build is the same, but it's a total screen. We kind of managed to deal with it from time to time. But yeah, the bottom one, for whatever reason, there's just no way we get it to work. It's insane. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, my build is not really equipped for those builds. They're still quite strong. Still quite strong. Another one. We keep seeing the same build again and again at this point. Some small variations, not exactly the same all the time, but not too much. If at least this time around we did manage to earn, I can't see if it's hydro or if it's the other unit that took us to it. It's more No, we'll have again a crappy winning ratio ultimately. If this is the type of build we face until the end, ah, we don't see any other option. So we need to be able to take down the avatar. Ay, ay, ay. Well, at least we shouldn't lose this one. It's gonna be a draw, or we are gonna have a late victory, maybe. Oh no, actually, yeah, they still managed to defeat us. Defeat us. Well played. Ah, finally, a decent build. Feels good after what was it, like 6 or 7 in a row? Anyway, we have 4 accounts left. So last time, if you last opportunity, if you have any questions or any topics that you would like to cover, just let us know. Come on, Brakaya, I need a win. We need at least 1 or 2 wins to before we finish this stream, right? It was way too tough for us today, and yeah, I think it's gonna be the win. I need not this time, but at least it's a faster fight. That's what we got. So then we still have Bal. We'll have Tutu and France to finish up. Okay, let's see, let's see. That's a good build. That's a very solid build. Okay, we will actually have the worst winning ratio in a long time. Tutu, let's see. Can we do anything? Can we at least get another win? Let's see. I don't think we're gonna do it. I think Tutu is gonna touch us. But let's see again. Worry. We're gonna think that we are if you the timing after close to 2 hours of stream. It's still 31 degrees, so it's not as warm as it was just 2 hours ago, or even an hour ago. Yeah, 31, 32 right now. So still talking about the risk of rainstorm so far. Nothing, but we'll see. Oh, is there finally a win? Finally, yes, yes. Thank you, Kutu. Thank you. Your dedication to the cause is noticed. So we are playing, which will be our last player for the day. Let's see what we can do there. Maybe we could win that fight so we get at least to 35% winning rate today. Looking okay so far. But we'll see. We know that whenever Hydro is there, not ideal for us. Let's see. Let's see how we do it. I think Frank is on a rather good path. Yeah, Frank is gonna do it. Unless we get a late roll, but I don't think so. I think Frank is gonna do it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You did it. And we're about to finish our tech for today. Exactly, exactly 2 hours after we started. Which is, you know, like symbolic. Anyway, I'd like to thank you again for joining us today. For those of you that were watching replay, because we know that a lot of you will watching replay, I wish you a wonderful evening, a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to each other in 2 weeks' time. Thank you again, everyone. Bye.